Silksong's been out for a while now, and if you wanted to buy the game just on the release, you know that you couldn't, because every platform was down because of one indie game, Silksong Final Boss. Anyway, I loved the game once I played it and still love it even after many hours in the game. And also, you know, Hollow Knight, which is super similar to the Silksong, but at the same time it's different in many ways. But today, I want to talk about things that Silksong did better than Hollow Knight, because I literally think that this game is a masterpiece. Also, disclaimer, video contains spoilers, so if you want to avoid them, don't watch the video. Lack of Soul is painful, especially for us, Soul enjoyers, but Silk is also very good. Actually, the healing mechanic is really greatly put in the game because Silksong is way more dynamic than Hollow Knight, so fast healing in whatever state we are, while half of the enemies deal double damage.
It was perfect.
Anyway, mainly how Hornet can deal damage is by her needle and tools, but we'll talk about it later. And the needle isn't only just hitting or pogoing. The longer you play, the more ways you will unlock. I mean, there are Silk abilities that are very different and you can use whatever suits you. For example, if you got or just this funny dash that works really well. Of course, there is a needle strike, which is different for every possible crest, and those are also a new feature which are amazing. You can choose whichever you like, attach your tools and have fun with your new ways of attacking. There are a lot of different ones. And Clawline, it looks like that. It's by far my favorite way of attacking because it's just super satisfying. The combat in this game is certainly better than in Hollow Knight, it's faster, smoother, and you have a lot of more ways to fight just like you want. Have I already said that Silksong is way more dynamic? I had to, because in the game there's a feature that no one wanted but everyone expected. You can run. Yes, if you unlock an ability to dash, you can literally run. In my playthrough I was pretty dumb because I didn't realize I could, and I've played a lot of games without running, but when I realized I could, it was heaven. Also, it can't be missing wall jumping and double jumping. Those are abilities that everyone knew will be in the game because they just needed to be there. We can even glide and combine it with Clawline, which makes platforming so good that I wish this mechanic were back then in the Path of Pain. Unfortunately, we're missing Crystal Dash, but instead we've got a dash upwards, which suits the main character even better. The platforming section and just the whole movement is something I just can't complain about. Absolute cinema. This might be a controversial one, but I do think it's better that Silksong is harder than the previous game. Unfortunately, before this video there was an update that nerfed the early game, which I don't really like, but I'll accept it. I admire challenges in the game and like to be a bit sweaty in boss fights, and those are also wonderful in the game because a lot of them is just not forgiving, so you have to spend your time learning how the boss works and attempt to beat him. And most of them dealing double damage isn't really bad because, just like I said, the game is way more dynamic and I think it just fits in. And even a lot of normal enemies deal double damage, so you know, you've got to Please don't yell at me instantly. I don't think Hollow Knight areas weren't good, because in fact I loved every single aspect of them. I think though Silksong did most of the areas better primarily because there are so many enemy diversities and all of them are unique and climatic, you know what I mean. But about those, I will talk more in the next video I'll be making, so wait for it. We're talking about areas, so let's move on to the graphic itself that just has to be better since the game was released 80 years later. And at the first glance, it looks like nothing has changed since Hollow Knight. Everyone knows why. But if you just played it for a while, you'll of course see a big difference. There are more details and just everything really looks visually better. I feel like most of the areas are just saturated, but without losing on those dark climatic areas that still look exactly as they should. I love wishes in the game. They're just quests, and even though those are just like find some more or get something, I think it's good improvement to the Metroidvania like Silksong. Because of it, you can literally find new bosses and of course get the rewards for this. Oh, and wishes are also useful to progress in the story to get the other ending, so you can get to know some more about the lore in the game. And actually I could talk about this game all the time because I really love it. When I played Hollow Knight for the first time, I knew it's gonna be one of my favorite games of all time, and Silksong is even better. But I still think that Hollow Knight did some things better, and I will talk about it in the other video. For now, if you still haven't bought Silksong, what are you waiting for?